Light FM. Good morning. It's 8:39 now. Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation. And it's time to check in on your money and find out what Wall Street's doing to you this morning. It's 3 days off, and my hunch is nothing has come to fruition or solved itself yet. So let's get with Phillip Statler from Statler Financial Services and see where things are at this morning to start a 4-day work week out. Phillip, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. Hey, doing well. It was let's just say I had my day on Saturday, and so hopefully that's going to carry us somewhat through the season, right?
Are you wearing your Seminoles red this morning?
No, not today. Not for work. That's if I do, it's a Friday attire usually. So
Okay. You have got to be a happy camper, especially when I tried to drag you out on a limb on Friday and get you to predict a win. You probably should have. You would have looked downright prescient, right?
Yeah, I would have. But you just don't know when the season starts.
Absolutely. So it does sound like they're for real this year. It's going to be an interesting college football season in Florida. Bring us back up to what we're supposed to be talking about today. It was an off day on Friday before the markets closed, and then we took 3 days off. Dow was off by 92, Standard & Poor's off by 42, NASDAQ off by 250, and absolutely nothing got solved over the weekend. We still have everything just sitting on our laps waiting to come to fruition, and because one of the big concerns we got is jobs. The whole dang week is going to be dominated by jobs once we get past today. And you got to remember, last month we had that big kerfuffle over the number of jobs added in 3 months worth of revisions and everything. I got a sneaking hunch the market is going to be nervous this week. Is that a fair guess?
I'm thinking it will be, and we can see that already. Friday we ended up the month of August down, though the indexes as a whole made a little positive gain for the month. We are continuing Friday's fall this morning as we see futures continuing to float downward.
It's just a matter of I would suspect if I were one of those guys with gobs of money to invest, I'd be kind of taking things off the table, not knowing exactly what's going to go on, and probably because the numbers are in doubt coming out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics now, no matter who's in charge of it, I'm not sure I'm going to like what's going to happen to my money this week, so I'm going to put it in some place where it goes absolutely nowhere. How about you?
Well, that's a good possibility. We are seeing, because over the weekend we saw that an appellate court basically threw out a lot of the tariffs that President Trump had laid on the table. And so there is an indication that the government may have to refund those. And if that's the case, it's driving bond yields up substantially on the 30-year. And we've got the 30-year right now at 4.99%. I mean, you can't get much closer to 5 than that.
Yeah, they didn't hear the court. The court over the weekend declared President Trump's unilateral imposition of tariffs unconstitutional, and at least some of the tip sheets are saying, whoa, Seabiscuit, as you said, we may actually have to refund those billions and billions and billions of dollars we've taken in. And, of course, the government has already spent, so that could be a kind of a big bill, and it could really affect the bond market for months to come if that actually happens.
Yeah, it really could. But I understand that, the Treasury Secretary does have a plan B. I haven't dug in to see what it is yet, but at least they are thinking that. But they believe the Supreme Court will rule in their favor.
And it needs to be reminded that, a court says one thing, there's 2 levels of courts up above that. We're now only up at the 2nd level. So, yeah, the Supreme Court's going to have the final change, but it's enough to get people nervous. Now, you add that onto the top of the jobs picture that we start getting first flashes on tomorrow with the JOLTS report. And we still got other things going in transit. There is a Fed meeting this month for the Open Market Committee. And we're still in court trying to figure out whether President Trump can fire Lisa Cook from the central bank's board of governors. She went to court that challenge, and it was left the decision in limbo on Friday. So, like I said, not one single issue really got settled over the weekend. Pictures aren't any clearer, and the clarities that we're getting, those improvements are basically foggier than they were before, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and so we continue to. Yeah, and I think, Dave, that's probably why we're seeing some continued downward pressure this morning. And the question is, how far are we going to retrace? We already know that September can be one of those months that that really ends up in the red more times than not.
And you add the fact that disconcerting news coming into the market doesn't help that one tiny little bit. You and I have always both said that Wall Street can cope with bad news. Wall Street likes good news. The one thing that Wall Street can't cope with and doesn't respond productively to is uncertainty. And I've almost got the definition of uncertainty on just about all the major changes that could affect the market lately.
I would agree with you, Dave. It does definitely look that way. That there is a rash of uncertainty right now when we look at tariffs, we look at the economy, we look at the markets as a whole. There's just uncertainty, it seems like, every direction we turn.
Absolutely. And you can tell by the pattern of our conversation that it acts like Monday because it's the first day back from a 3-day holiday, so there really isn't anything important coming up on the government data dump, at least today. And there's not a ton of earnings either, but I know you got a couple. Later on in the week, we are going to get some household names. We're going to get Hewlett-Packard, Dollar Tree, the Campbell Soup people, Macy's tomorrow. On Thursday, we're going to end up seeing Broadcom, one of the big glamour tech stocks, Lululemon. So the earnings season isn't completely over yet. And then, like we said, starting tomorrow, we start getting indications on the job market with the JOLTS report as far as how many people we're planning on laying off. And then on Thursday, we get ADP and the Friday fabled unemployment rate number that nobody's going to really trust anyway. Starting tomorrow, you and I are going to have a whole lot to talk about, but today, we do have a household name that actually reported, the people that own Kay Jewelers. I don't know if Travis Kelce bought Taylor's engagement ring there. You could probably tell from their quarterly report. How did they do?
Hey, Signet Jewelers, you're right. The parent company of Kay Jewelers, Jarrett Jewelers, that whole line of jewelry stores did well. They came in at $1.61 a share compared to $1.24 expected. A revenue slightly above expectations. They did also, Dave, increase their full year guidance on earnings. So that was some good news for them. Not a huge jump. They're up 2.2% this morning. So good news on that front. I got another tidbit for you when it comes to PepsiCo. PepsiCo released, the Wall Street Journal reported that an activist investor, Elliott Management Group, had taken a $4 billion stake in the company. So the expectation is that there's going to start to be some rattling of chains to make some changes at PepsiCo. And that's got PepsiCo stock up almost 4.75% this morning, Dave.
Normally, when you get the rattling of chains in the rumor mill, that means the stock goes down. The stockholders of Pepsi must be less than impressed with what they've gotten for the last few quarters.
I think so, Dave. I think there is that expectation that Elliott may bring some stuff to the table to help improve some of the earnings and revenue numbers through PepsiCo.
All righty. Resetting the table for the morning. It was kind of a profit-taking off day on Friday. How are we doing 45 minutes before we open this morning, Phillip?
Dave, it's looking worse than what it did on Friday right now. But we've got the Dow Jones Industrial 30 down almost 1% this morning. The S&P 500 is down 1.1, and the NASDAQ 100 is down almost 1.5%. The Russell 2000 down almost 1.6%. So solid red this morning before we get going. On the other side of the coin, though, we do got some jumps. Silver up almost 1.3%, Dave. It's made a huge jump, $41.24 an ounce right now. Gold, I think hit a new record high. It's
Hmm.
up 3/4% to $3,542 right now. And let's just
And
put gold in there too.
yesterday was an all-time record high for gold, so we just slammed through that one like a heartbeat, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And then we got gold. I mean, black gold, crude oil heading the same way, up almost 1.5% this morning, Dave, at $64.95 a barrel right now.
Well, poop. Overseas markets, I'm not looking real good either. I'm looking at basically red ink all the way across the Asian Rim market. Absolutely nobody was up at the close. Oh, take it back. Except for Japan, they gained 1/4 of a point. As goes Japan. Asian Rim markets otherwise tend to go the other direction. Europe is also having a little bit of a sell-off this morning. Halfway through their trading day, the European community markets are down almost a full percent today. That's only halfway through their day, so our futures are reflecting that too. Getting my retirement together takes a pair of eyes to get the hidden expenses and the risks out of my retirement portfolio. Phillip, how do I get a hold of you in order to accomplish that?
Davis, the volatility that makes the markets ups and downs can be a little harrowing as we go. But the closer you get to retirement, the more it really starts to affect things. And we want to make sure that we're heading the right direction. And that's why we offer a 30-minute phone consultation to make sure folks are on the right path to the retirement they always dreamed of with our core retirement design. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday mornings on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m. and 95.3 FM.
And back again with us tomorrow morning, same time on Light, with a whole pile of government numbers and more, because we got some names to report on the earnings front as well. Have a good day, my friend. I will see you then.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Thank you. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Phillip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Hope your week is off to a great start. Bye now.